this area of the carving is flat, so there's nothing much happening here. So really the main work of shaping will be around the edges. But to begin with, I'm going to just use my V tool and outline some of these shapes here. What I don't want them to look like are leaves, so I will be adding some sort of texture to them. But for the moment, let me just draw this in a bit better. Get those. So I'm just outlining these sort of locks of fur in the main. I'm also going to separate out the jaw, but quite deeply, because this bit is going to have to go back fairly far. So here's my jaw around here, and I'm going to separate out the ear here and up here. Now essentially we're going to deal with that and then we'll come into the face, but for now I can actually just take some of that back because I know the tongue is further back, so I'll just line that in a little bit. Okay, so now I've got a sense of where things are going, I can start taking some of this wood away. I will have to do these lines again, and I do have my drawing, but the mane is going to come round back here like this. So I'll take wood off there. And off here. A little bit of the brow. And then off this side. So you see this bit's remaining pretty much where it is. So I'm going to start just separating these out. So we're getting a step in between. And you see the various elements, and then I can start tuning them up a little bit. So having taken away the background, I've used my various gouges to set in, just as before, and then skew chisels or whatever is needed to remove the wood. So I've used the whole of the depth here and to this side, merged it in with the rest of the lion. There's less wood removed here than you think, although things are separated out. So that's this stage finished, and we're moving on to the rest of the head. I've already lined in the bottom edge of the mouth, and I'm going to keep this top lip and bottom lip hard, but I am going to take the actual tongue back, so we'll push that back here into the mouth. So there's the tongue. I'll have to clean that up, but just to go through the stages. So I'll be taking the tongue back here. This bit of the mouth I won't touch, so that lip stays where it is. Let's just remove the paper on that. Okay, so right, so then the bottom lip here, the bottom of the jaw, I'm going to round this over. Okay, and there's a little bit of a sort of hair down there, fur, so I'll take those down. But this bit here remains fairly flat, so again I can skim off. Again, you'll see the paper, taking the paper away here. So I've got a good outline, so you can tell what's going on. And now I can go down here and actually get, I don't know if if you're copying this, you'll notice that when we take them back down here, all these edges, we can actually see them more clearly, so we have a chance to sort of clean up and get into places that's a bit more difficult when it's the full depth. So you might have to go back over things. So this is fairly flat here, but rounded over the jaw, so keep the jaw sort of soft there. There. This top bit is flat, as I said, so I'll take this off. Now we've got the cheekbone here, so I'm going to set that in, and I'm going to do that with a V-tool. I'll make that fairly strong so that we can see what's going on. Now there's an eye in here, so I'll run that a bit further back. In fact, I'll take that right back all the way across here. So now I can round over the forehead. Probably use something a little bit bigger. So the forehead rounding over, and that will go back into the ears. Don't want to lose my paper quite yet. And I can round over this bit here. And we're going to take this down here so that the cheek here remains high, and of course fairly flat still. So I come across here. Quite a strong end. Just push that back. So this bit goes back into that hair, into the fur here. We can make the cheekbone lift up a little bit by removing wood in the middle here, but keep the cheekbone fairly strong, soft, but strong, excuse me. Now the eye itself will need to find a couple of gouges that will fit that. I think this one will do. So what I'm going to do is set in and take out a bit like that there. So that's part of the cheekbone now. And then set in the top similarly, come round. So let me get rid of some of that paper and you can see what I don't need it now. So okay, I think you can see that. So what I've got is the bottom bit of the eye here set in to the cheekbone there, like an L shape. This one is coming round, or round this over here like this. I'm going to take some of that back into there, so I've got a little V depression at the back here. So now the front of the eye, again we need to find a gouge that'll fit that. So there's one like that, so I'm going to push that in there like so. And there's the eyeball. So what I want along the top here is a groove, like so. So this is, if you like, the nose that's coming down here. We'll put a nostril in there. That comes down and creates a shadow where the eye is, you see. So I've got a nice hard edge here into the L shape. So a detail is going to be putting in the iris or something in there, but for the moment I'll leave that like that. Nicely set in, and as I say, a little bit of a shadow down there. So I'm going to clean all this up, and the ear, well, most of that's flat, so we'll have that like so, and then we will scoop out this bit here, so we'll actually scoop like that, so we'll end up with an edge where that line is. I've cleaned everything up. You can see I've made, full use of the depth here. For the details, we don't have that many, but we do have an iris we can put in here. And I'm going to use this small tool. This is a Dockyard micro tool, but anything that's got a small number 9, and I'm basically going to push it into here like this. Create the pupil. I will need to take, I don't want to get in the way of the camera here, but take that bit out there, and then I'm going to get a little nail punch. It's essentially just a nail that's been pointed a bit, and just stab that in there, and there you go, you've got a nice little bit of an eye. So that's one way to do the eye. Within this face, I should just say that I have sunken this a little bit. So this is sunken, a little bit sunken here, a little bit sunken here. So I have modelled the surface a little bit. So I've kicked the edges up a little bit. We can do a similar thing over here. We can put the nostril in just like a cut in and then along like that. We can put a nostril in here. That along there. We can make something of the ear in here. Let's go give a bit of shadow around there. That sort of thing. So that's looking quite good. Now, what I wanted to do was make something more of these ends. This is meant to be fur, so it's not a hard sort of leaf-like effect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a number 11 gouge, it's quite a fine gouge, and I'm going to just sort of just break this edge up a little bit and put some lines going up fairly irregularly. You see, nothing special, but coming right onto the edge here, and then up like this. So just a few lines like this. And same here. So I'm going to go over all of these and just get myself some fur, if you like. Not too many sort of parallel looking things. Make it a bit haphazard, a bit rough. So work my way around with these. Make that all over here, and on the legs where I can, perhaps a little bit up here, these sort of things, and a little bit on the tail. So with that, that'll be the last sort of detail I'll put in. Might pick that bit a little deeper there. Well, with those details, I think the carving is finished. So I'm going to change the lighting, and then I'm going to carefully go around and look at any little details, any bits now that I can get at in a way that I couldn't get at before, and make sure it's all clean and finished. But that's our lion, looking good.